Alright, so today we've got a pretty laid back video. We're going to be doing the second and last community video of the Warmonger era. Tomorrow is the start of Year 4 Season 3 or Season 15, so I wanted to do one more of these before we start a new season. As of the time of me uploading this video, the patch notes for tomorrow's update aren't out yet, but as soon as they are, I'll be sure to update you all on that. Now, before we begin, real quick, if you watch this channel and these videos on a somewhat regular basis, I'd really appreciate it if you took a second to sub to the channel, as it really does help me out. Now let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Okay, starting things off, Mr. Meter Doom says, this new season introduced a lot of quality of life, which I'm happy to see. However, they still haven't added something which should be obvious. Why is there no emote wheel? What's the point in having 10 plus emotes and only equipping 2? Every game has an emote wheel. Please, Ubi, give me a reason to spend steel on emotes. I would love to have an emote wheel and have something to select more finishers at this point. We're heading into Season 15. There's so many emotes to choose from and so many finishers for us to choose from as well. The base ones, the added ones, the event specific ones, there are plenty. If at all possible, I hope this is something that they can get to one day. I am often deterred from buying new emotes and finishers because I know I won't be able to use some of the older stuff that I bought. I would buy more stuff personally if I could just use more stuff, especially finishers. I would buy so many more finishers if I could use them all. I'm not sure if it's possible, but I think for emotes, it'd be cool if we could, just hold our emote button and then select from a wheel. There'd be the issue of identifying them and making icons and whatnot, but I'm sure something could be worked out, like little thumbnails or something. Finishers, on the other hand, since you don't have much time between landing the final heavy and selecting a finisher in the first place, there are a few ways that I think it could be done, either introducing more buttons or having you hold down a button while pressing another, or hitting a direction like how some of the quick chat stuff works. Either way, I'd love to have access to more of the stuff I buy or earn. It would undoubtedly make me, buy more stuff. I'd even consider buying steel, and I'm sure I'm not alone on that. Your turn, Ubi. Candy for You says, I'm loving the new Aramusha armor. How about you? For me, it came as a surprise considering he got all of these changes to his speed, but do you think this might entail future changes to him, like a rework or something? Also, how do you feel about the way they're putting out the Year 1 DLC sets? I'm fine with it as long as the time creates good quality gear and style. I really like the new set too. The set alone is going to be the reason I play Aramusha this upcoming season. I don't think this signifies a rework or anything like that for Aramusha though. If it does, cool, but I think one of the reasons he got a new set is because he has a part in the story for this season, Goemon the Aramusha, or at least I'd assume so. That, and if I were going to try and release one hero at a time while under limitations in terms of armor, if there are limitations with what's going on, I'd work on heroes that only have one gender rather than two. And if my options were narrowed down between the remaining Year 1 heroes, Shaman, Highlander, Gladiator, and who? Shaman, Highlander, Gladiator, and Shinobi. Shinobi. And if my options were narrowed down between the remaining Year 1 heroes, including Aramusha, and one of the heroes has a part in the story that I'm telling, I'm going to release the armor for them. But that's just me. I'm just throwing out guesswork at this point. As for only getting one entirely new set of armor per season for one hero, I guess it's better this way when you take a step back and look at things. Again, we have no idea what's going on at Ubi when it comes to For Honor, but we do know that they've been talking about armor since like Marching Fire, and that was about 2 years ago. That's a long time. If they're not done with everyone, I'd rather get the armor sets like this than to wait a few more seasons to get them all at once. It just gives us a little more content to come along with a seasonal release, and as I said, I'd rather not wait. It would be really cool to get everyone at once, but if we had to wait, say, 3 more seasons or however long, they'd hear it even more from us. I mean, when you think about it, it really has been a very long time since the Year 1 heroes released. Whenever new seasons lack armor as well, I think I see that talked about as much as whatever the big thing for that season is, and it really shows how much people care for their fashion and customizing their heroes. I mean, at the end of the day, that's basically what we grind for, to make our characters look cooler and do cooler things in terms of emotes and finishers, of course. Next up, Mr. S says, why do I feel like you're always trying to avoid questions that are negative or critical to the game? I feel like you're always trying to be positive, and you think that for some reason that is healthy for the game. Or that you're always trying to avoid backlash by being like this, or maybe it's not to get called toxic, but if you're genuine and passionate about the game, then why are you so afraid of addressing the issues that the game has? All I want to say is, a lot of the For Honor content creators I feel don't critique the game enough, and I personally think that this will help the game a lot to get it to a much healthier state much faster, if you really care about the game, both in terms of balance and in terms of content. And now I'm going to provide some examples to back my case. For example, the new finishers. I know that some like it, but we all can't deny that a unique finisher for every single character is much better, and if you guys, the content creators, complained and said no from the previous seasons, we would or could have had finishers for every character. And in terms of balance, if you really think that this character needs addressing, then don't make it seem like we will wait for the next season. Speak up and pressure the devs into addressing the issue in the same season. I think that you give the devs too much freedom. So this isn't the first time I've seen someone say something like this. The reason I don't actively go out of my way to critique the game harshly, or even say anything outwardly negative, or just bring things up that I don't like as much recently, is because I've already basically said everything that I've wanted to say. I could sit here and make video after video talking about the things I don't like and things I want to see addressed and whatnot, but I've already done so, and want to avoid sounding like a broken record and just repeat myself over and over. If you go through my video catalog, you'll see plenty of videos that are just straight up criticism and whatnot about the game, its content, even the community at times. I can't speak for everyone else that makes videos on For Honor, but I'd assume they're in the same boat too, especially when it comes to something like balance. The only thing I haven't really went into are things like renown gain, classes, revenge holding, feats, things like that. But I haven't wanted to recently because I haven't really been playing the game as of late. But when a new problem does arise, I do address it pretty quickly. The last thing I can think of will be the Warmonger and her feats. I talked about how much I didn't like how they affected fights, or how I didn't like the initial damage numbers that came with the core combat update, and I will do the exact same thing for whatever else I feel can be improved upon. If the next hero comes out and they have things I don't like, of course I'm going to talk about it. Now, on your point about the new finishers, as I said before, I'm sure that the vast majority of players want new finishers for every hero. I mean, look at poor Jean-Hu, they still have 5 finishers. And now I wonder what's going to happen with Warmonger, when are they going to get stuff? But I'm also aware that things are not normal right now. Warmonger was delayed, and they're still doing reveals from home, things like that. And I believe after all this time, they just aren't able to make quality finishers for 27 heroes. It's probably a lot easier to make faction specific finishers, or finishers that everyone can use, than it is to make unique finishers for everyone. I don't think it has anything to do with Ubi just not wanting to make them, or Ubi being lazy, as some people say, as I'm sure that finishers sell more than anything else in For Honor. Also, yes, content creators can bring issues to light and get people talking about things, or be a quote-unquote spearhead, but we alone do not have extreme influence over what the devs do. A lot of us speak on things and make suggestions and whatnot, but they don't always get implemented. Even if all of us banded together and did what you said, reject the idea of faction finishers for this season, that's not going to change what's going on over there. Next up, Levy Die says, do you think that the Viking in the event is going to be the new hero? We got Astria in an event, so would it be possible that they do this for this character too? Okay, so you're talking about Ilma the Blacksmith. I don't think that Ilma will be the next hero. I've seen a few people argue that they believe it could be, but I genuinely don't believe so. Yes, they were using a few things from other heroes, and they did so with Warmonger, but Warmonger's case was a little different. Warmonger showed up with a whole new moveset, voice lines, 4 different sets of armor, and they did so many things differently off the bat. Of course, we haven't played the event yet, and maybe Ilma does have a few things that are unique to them, but I just can't see them being the next playable hero. With Warmonger, it was, you know, almost instant. It was really apparent, but I just don't see this with Ilma. Also, I think it's just a bit too soon to tease the hero. We've still got like 3 months or so before we get them, or at least until we're supposed to get the next hero anyways, so I don't think that Ilma's the next hero. I still believe that the next hero is going to be a knight. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. Tomorrow is the start of a new season, and I'm looking forward to messing around with a few things. I'm hoping that, you know, there are fight changes that we can look forward to as well. I like the quality of life stuff and will play the event and all that, but the fighting is why I still play the game, and I'm always looking forward to something new to play around with. As always, I do want to know what you guys think, so be sure to talk to me down in the comments about anything we talked about in this video. And as always, if you liked the video, feel free to leave a like and sub if you're new, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.